It's me, Londa A, also known as Change with Londa Adams, BKA, Change Your Trajectory with Londa Adams. So today's topic is strictly about moms because we have Mother's Day coming up this Sunday, and I am super excited about it because what better day to celebrate, especially if you're a mom. I'm a mom, I have a mother, and I am super excited to talk on this message about a mother's love. This is going to be a 3-part episode, and today I am strictly going to be talking about me, my upbringing, and some background information, okay? So, you guys stick around. I was born in 1992, February 1992, February the 20th. So yes, I am a Pisces, and I was born in Los Angeles, California, at a hospital called St. Francis. Okay, so for all my people who know about St. Francis, yes, I am a St. Francis baby. All right, so I was born in 1992, and literally I only got to spend 3 years of my life, maybe 2 or 3 years of my life, in California. My family, of course, we are originally from there. However, we transitioned to Atlanta 3 years later. There's this beautiful baby girl named Londa. I was named after my aunt who passed away from lupus. So I have her name, her first name, and just like I said, we spent 3 years in California, and then eventually we end up transitioning to Atlanta. Now, from my background and what I know from hearing my parents tell me, we drove for 3 days to make it to Atlanta. 3 days, and that ride was something vicious from what I was told. On the ride here, I can remember my dad telling me that the whole way here, I had my head in the window, just staring at the trees and everything I saw that passed me. I would just say, I like that. I like that. I like that. That is what I would constantly say to everything that passed me, okay? So, as you can see, I was always a curious child, okay? I was always a curious child. Very, very curious. When we first moved to Atlanta, we originally moved to Old National. Um, if you're familiar with Old National, for all my people who live in GA, that's where we first resided when we moved down here. And we moved down with my grandmother, of course. She stayed in LA as well. However, she transitioned to Atlanta with us because her primary family was from Atlanta. However, my grandmother was not my real grandmother. My mom was adopted. Her and her brothers were adopted at a young age, and so that's how my grandmother came into our lives. So we moved down here with her, and our first stop was Old National, and then that's when we moved to Washington Road, South Side, of course, which is still a part of, Old National South Side area. So we lived there for some time. We lived with my grandmother. It was me and my mom. My dad did come down with us at this time. However, as things played out between my mom and my dad, he eventually ended up going back to California. I was a daddy's girl, so just imagine him leaving, and the person who I consider to be like extremely clean onto, he was now gone. So it was me, my mom, my brothers, and my grandma. And my mom eventually, she moved out and she took my brothers, and the reason being is because my grandmother wanted me to stay with her. So I was with my grandma, my 2 brothers were with my mom. She moved into her own place, and eventually, of course, as time went by, she got a boyfriend and they stayed together. So here I was, this girl staying with my grandma, and it was cool. However, I was angry because my grandmother, she spoiled me a lot. Like, she spoiled me a lot. Okay, I had everything that you can mention under the sun. She bought it for me. On down to like a dresser filled with perfume and night powders, all kind of stuff like that. You name it, I had it, okay? The only thing I did not have was freedom. I swear she would never ever allow me to go outside. She never allowed me outside at all. And that was the only thing I really wanted. Bump all the clothes, bump all the jewelry, all the perfume sets. I didn't want any of that. I just wanted to enjoy myself and go outside. And so because of that restriction, I became a rebellious child. I was very angry, and I would do things like take all of my perfumes and my powders and put it inside the little fake pot that I had and put it on my fake stove, and I would just act like I'm cooking it, you know what I mean? Because I didn't care. The only thing that I wanted to do, I could not do. So of course I would do things like sneak outside and, you know, do all these little rebellious things. As time went by, my mom, somehow she eventually moved in with my grandmother. So it was my grandmother, my brothers, and my mom. We all stayed in under one roof. And while we were there, we enjoyed our time. It was more freedom for me because my mom was there. But on top of that, I still was spoiled as well. Eventually, my grandmother and my mom, their relationship wasn't always that solid because of the experiences that my grandmother went through. She would use drugs, and because of that, she would act out. It would, you know, get to her emotions and make her do some crazy things. So my mom, she took us, and we ended up moving into our own place. Moving with my mom was pretty cool. However, I feel like I have my freedom, but now I'm missing that sense of, you know, womanship, sense of learning how to be a woman, because my grandmother, she really groomed me to be like this princess. But I had this wild side when I was with her because I was so restricted. So moving with my mom, there was no more having everything that you wanted. You know what I mean? I went from having my own space in my own room to now here I am. We're in a 2-bedroom apartment. My brothers have their own room, but I'm sharing a room with my mom. And so that part was missing because there was no get your hair combed each and every night, braided up because, you know, grandma don't want your hair to be, you know, messed up and looking some type of way. There was no completely invest into your hygiene, into your clothes and things like that, because my mom, it's not like she did not care. However, her main focus and priority was to go to work and make sure the bills were paid. So I was left at home allowing my brothers. And my brothers, what they would do is they would leave me in the house and they would go out with their friends and have fun and have a blast. So here I was stuck at home by myself. I had all the freedom that I wanted, but I lacked that person in my life to show me how to be a woman. So throughout that time of me being there, my girliness turned into me being more of a tomboyish. I didn't care. Like, I remember some days I would go to school with my brother's shorts on and a big white t-shirt, you know, because that girliness had just went out the window. I had turned into a tomboy. And so here I was, I had all of this freedom, and you know, I was missing that, of course, role model of how to be a woman, how to be feminine. And so I just completely turned into this tomboy who was free. I remember one particular incident where, you know, I was free. I was going outside, I was making friends and hanging out. So I remember this particular incident where my mom, she was at work, and everybody in our apartments, they used to go swimming. Like, throughout the summer, that was just the thing to do, because I feel like our apartments was the only apartments at the time that had the 8 feet. Like, Come on now, we had the 8 feet, man. That was a really big deal, because everybody else, they pools only always went to like the 5th feet or something like that. We had the 8 feet, okay? And I was so ecstatic about it. However, I remember times where I was like extremely scared to go over there, but I knew I wanted to do it. I just wanted to jump in the 8 feet because I saw everybody else doing it, and all of the games like Marco Polo and all of the fun stuff was always played in the 8 feet. So I wanted to be included into that. I remember this day because I feel like a part of me was like born. I feel like there was just this birth of strength, boldness, this birth of just knowing I can do whatever, like, in this moment. So I got up one day, I snuck out the house. I was not supposed to go swimming because before I had went swimming throughout the week, and my mom was just so tired of me washing my hair. But this day I just had to go. I think one of my friends maybe knocked on the door and convinced me to come swimming. So I went swimming. I think I played in maybe the 3 feet and the 5 feet for quite some time. But then I was thinking to myself, you know what? I'm going to jump in this 8 feet. I'm going to do it. And with no help, with no guidance, I took my little behind, I ran back, and I jumped into it. So all I can remember at that time was me just like floating at the bottom. And on my way down, I had my eyes open and I'm just seeing the blue water, and I'm seeing everybody else around me in the swimming pool. I see their legs just moving around, and I'm just going down. I'm just like, wow, this is really deep. Like really deep. So I get down and I touch the bottom of the pool. I didn't panic because something told me don't panic. If you're able to land on this ground right here, all you have to do is push yourself back up. So of course I felt the ground, and I pushed myself back up, and I'm slowly coming up, still not panicking, and I'm above water.